Hey folks, and welcome back to Sevtech Ages. So, I said last episode I would work on this, and I did. And I worked on it some more, and then some more, and then some more. I got kind of carried away. It was one of those things where I started building it, and I just kept building it, and I couldn't stop myself until I was done. But yeah, you can kind of see what's going on here. We've got some aqueducts going on. We've got some farm, which is very quickly drying out because I have removed a axle to show you guys how this thing works. We've got some screw pumps, like 16 of them I think, all the way down there. That's the first one right there where my cursor is. And we'll take a look, a bit close mechanics after I start this up. But as soon as I put this axle back, you can watch this do its magic. There it goes. Comes up all the way over here, and then eventually the aqueduct fills, the water goes into the farms. We've got irrigation. So now I can actually start farming things properly. It will be nice. This farm was always going a bit fallow actually because I had a really got to do something about the caves under there so I don't get so many boys down there. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I had a different way of doing this. It took me hours, guys, like all day yesterday I was working on this thing. And you can kind of follow the progress on Twitter. First of all, I did what I thought I knew I had to do, which was just setting up the screw pumps. But then there was the whole thing where I didn't think screw pumps could work with aqueducts. I soon learned that that was not the case. Which, by the way, if you're watching and you're like, how does that even work with aqueducts? It's because from the first source block, you need an aqueduct. Because the water that the screw pump moves is based on the strength of the input. And so the if it was just the source block and then like a cobblestone block, it would be a weak input for this screw pump right here, right? And then you need to continue that all the way up. So you need your aqueducts right from the start of your train. What I was doing wrong was I was using cobble instead of aqueducts all the way up this spiral, all the way up here, and then starting aqueducts here forward. And the water that came out here would be too weak for these aqueducts to carry on. And so I had to use a different method, which is the original method of doing that irrigation, which is why aqueducts exist in the first place, which is I was using serial screw pumps to put in the weak flow at the end of the 8 blocks and then pass it on another 8 blocks and then a screw pump and pass it on the 8 blocks, which is why these granite blocks are here, because they're in the place from my original design, marking out where to put new screw pumps when I needed them. No longer the case, just need a lot of clay and a lot of stone. So that's where we are at. I also, in the meantime, set myself up with a saw, a mill, and I made it a little bit fancy because I could. I needed to take a break every so often from working on this thing. And so I ended up putting some siding on this. This will all be taken down as well because I'm going to build actual buildings for these going forward. But then also I made a turntable and a spinning wheel, and the turntable allowed me to make a clay bucket, because to make a clay bucket you put a unfired clay barrel extension on a turntable and you get a clay bucket, which means I actually didn't need this irrigation system. I have to admit, it's a sad thing that I have to admit, but I have to admit it. Didn't actually need this big spiral thing, but I want it anyway. Now that it's here, that's what we're sticking with. But the clay bucket actually lets me do source blocks. So, yeah, a little bit. I need to fill these back in because they're ugly. And I have some spare screw pumps there from the serial screw pumps up the top for the irrigation. So that's where we are at. I didn't plant anything because I wanted you guys to be around for that. I did actually do some more worm farming in the meantime though, because I needed lots of hemp for what we were doing. So you can see I've got all these hemp seeds and hemp in here. But we'll have lots of farms and things going forward. Put the hemp in there, we can get planting with some hemp. I know a lot of you will probably be like, oh, why didn't you film the making of the whole thing? I tell you what, there was not a lot going on, I'll tell you. A lot of it was sitting and thinking and processing materials, especially processing materials. That took the longest, mostly bronze and hemp. Takes a long time to get that stuff processed. So you didn't miss anything, I promise. And I just remembered I haven't finished explaining how this works. So for maximum distance, because you can only go 3 blocks with wooden axles, you got gearbox 3, gearbox 3, gearbox 3, gearbox 3, and that gets us to this point, which is where things actually start mixing up. From here to about here is one module. You'll notice there's a theme when I walk you through this, that this is just this section here repeated over and over again, where it goes the screw pump, axle, gearbox, gearbox for one screw pump, and then screw pump, axle, gearbox for another screw pump, and then screw pump, axle, gearbox, and then joining those. And obviously the input comes from whatever direction the mechanical power is actually coming from. So in this case, here's this, so it's accepting it from this direction, that one's accepting it from that direction because it's passing it down the line, right? So again, here's the next part of the module. Screw pump, axle, gearbox, gearbox. Axle, gearbox, gearbox. Axle, gearbox. Axle, gearbox. Axle, gearbox, gearbox, axle, gearbox, etc. And the only difference once we actually get down here is that even though this bit repeats, you just turn it at the point of the gearbox, right? So here it leads into the axle, gearbox, and you just turn it that direction and again at that direction and again, and then so on and so forth. And that gets us our spiral. So that's how to get your big mechanical thing. I was actually surprised that there doesn't seem to be any limit on the amount of, I suppose, distance or things, or I suppose I was surprised that the windmill could supply all of these gearboxes and all of those axles and actually not have any issue whatsoever. I suppose there's not really a limit so much to what mechanical power can power, just kind of the efficiency of it, I suppose, or yeah, I don't know really how to describe what I'm trying to say. It's just surprising to me that this amount of wooden mechanical power can come off a single windmill. I suppose that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, we now have the ability to have irrigation, which is lovely, because we can start planting things. And one of the things I wanted to start planting, because I am a fancy bee, is grapes. Somewhere around here I have a few grape seeds. I thought. Do I not? Chamomile, horsetail, coffee beans. Yeah, grape seeds, here we go. Because I wanted to, I don't know, the olive trees and grapes, Mediterranean type zone that we're in. Start planting those olive trees as well. Start Romanizing the area, and by that I mean taking a look at like Roman architectural influences and trying to implement them into this. For example, we're going to disguise this whole thing as kind of like a actual Roman aqueduct building. I've done my best to try and make it look tidy in this state, but we're going to build like a tower around this section, and then like a proper disguise thing where you can't see the mechanical parts or anything, and have it made out of plaster and like terracotta tile and that sort of thing. And the only issue is that one of the ones that I want to use is adobe, and adobe requires dung, and the only way I know how to get dung with better than nearly called it better than wolves, better with mods, is from wolves specifically. So I'm not really certain how I'm going to get that dung. Other possible choices, I guess chisel could help. It could be marble we use instead of... Because what we really want is like a plaster material, and I wish I could have installed earthworks into this pack just as my own little adaptation. But I tried that the other day, and this pack has run out of IDs. There's so many blocks in this mod pack that it crashes on load if I put anything else into it, so it has been pushed to its utter limits, put it that way. Right, grapes. So grapes, I think they have a particular way of growing. I think you need fences. Rustic has a book, and I want to get that book so that I don't, oh my god, type properly, me. The almanac. Okay, we can't access it. It needs iron. I'm just gonna guess. I think it needs fences. I think. So we need to make some wooden fences. Fence. And before I make them the old style way, yeah, we can use oak molding to make fences, which is a lot cheaper and a lot more efficient. Let's do that. Whoa! That? Thank you. And the other thing we want, I believe, is those rustic ropes we made. Because you can connect fences together and actually make proper grapevines. I think this is how this works. So if I make like, whoop, whoop, okay. And then, of course I don't have my hoe on me, because I think I need to re-hoe the ground underneath that. Where did, it'll probably be in this box. I'm confused, you see. Spent all day doing this stuff and ended up moving some things around. And just like between doing things was making huge amounts of copper and tin. And just letting the tin run. But I think if we re-hoe this, I've done this once before. Yeah, maybe it's not that rustic. Is it a particular thing? Ah, wooden stake. It is different. Right you are. That's fine, I suppose. But if you've ever seen I suppose if you've ever seen a vineyard, Rustic tries to emulate that. Let me grab you. Unfortunately, there's no efficient recipe for steaks, but that'll do, I guess. I'm not worried about wood anymore. With the saw around, it just, wood is a non-issue. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then we plant the grapes under... No? Not how you work? I think you do this, right? I think this is how you do it. And then you put stakes on this side. I think most grapevines are shorter than this. I'm making it a bit high with the 3 of them there, but I want to try it out. Yo, get out of my farm. This is another reason why I have to get rid of that ish we've got going on there. So you need to give them ropes to climb up on, right? Because they grapes. Hey, Seriously? Okay. Thank you, Sevtech. I appreciate that. It's always interesting. I always seem to get those particular lag spikes as I go to fight something, and I wonder if it's something to do with an AI waking up, kind of, or an AI putting more effort into stuff or something. I don't know how to interpret that, really. But it seems to happen more often than not that when I start to engage enemies in combat, that's when one of those big freezes will happen. So if I... yeah, there we go. And then you're going to grow up nice and strong. Strong. Maybe I only needed like one of you underneath. I'm not entirely sure. We'll leave this to grow anyway. So we'll be able to get more grapes. And we can do something similar. We will do you... We'll do you on this side. I think one of these grows up via the actual stakes themselves. I think it's chilies. Like, the grapes grow on the vines, I mean the ropes, and chilies grow on the stakes, specifically. And tomatoes. We can grow chilies and tomatoes. Let's try tomatoes. Me personally, I think tomatoes go with more food than chilies do, so yeah, there you go. So tomatoes grow up the stakes. Which is cool. And so do chilies. So maybe what we do is we make some more stakes. Grab some more oak. You know what? I'm not going to use oak. I know I said I don't really care about the wood, but I need to find a reason to use the cedar. Because it doesn't work with anything else. But yeah, this is kind of just... I want to experience Sevtech in a... like, I don't want to blast through the ages, right? And it's going to take us ages anyway, so we may as well... haha, ages, get it? It's going to take us ages anyway, so we may as well just enjoy everything as we go. So, you know, I'm ruining the farmland by doing this, but... actually, I think... you know, I've never seen a tomato plant grow that tall. So I'm going to do 2 stakes for each tomato plant. Like that. Okay. And then we'll have a row that's empty. And you will grow some chilies on these ones. I don't mind having empty rows again. It's not about efficiency. I can just put more farmland into this area. It's about having something which... a base which I'm proud of. Because that's something I miss. I can have an efficient base, and I can do that where it matters. But I think for the sake of growing things like tomatoes and chilies, that's not like a pressing concern. So rather than trying to maximize space or anything, I would rather it look great and just do it that way. So we're going to let those grow out. Some we want to... I think we want to work on getting some more clay though. The construction of the screw pumps took 30 glue. Because I needed to make... well, no, it took 32 glue, I suppose. Because I needed to make a whole bunch of them. Which meant that I had to kill a lot of pigs. So if you're wondering where all the pork chops came from, I actually had way more than this. I had like a stack and a half. But to give you an idea of how long I was working on this irrigation project, I've gone through a stack and a little bit. But we need to get more clay because we need to expand this aqueduct down here, because you can see that this one is not getting enough water. The other thing is, I think 1, 2, 3, and then I think we'll like push the aqueducts out this way, except we're going to keep the aqueducts going at this height. We're not going to drop them down, and instead we're going to do as the Romans did and actually drop the water down ourselves into the crops below and irrigate the system that way. I think that will be fun. You know what I can't do right now is go to the deep dark to get the clay that I need, which has a lot of clay in it, which is why I'd be going to the deep dark to do it. I need to go get some coal because I have no torches. I have a torch. My bad. Sorry for lying. I should be doing this because I'm sure some of it has despawned by now. Maybe not. But I can't wait to get to the next stage, or I can wait, but I would like to get to the next stage so that I can get access to a little bit more better with mods, so I can have shoots picking up the items so that they don't despawn. So it's not something I have to worry about. Let's go get some coal. I think the other reason I would like to get to the next stage as soon as I can is because that'll, I think, be the Iron Age if this is the Bronze Age, and that gets us access to chisel, because I noticed that we don't actually, or we're not able to make a chisel in this age. They are unfamiliar items, and I would just like a chisel, even if it's a useless chisel, like a really bad durability one, just so that I have the freedom of having the textures and stuff available to us if I'm actually serious about this whole Roman aesthetic I want to do. I think that would be real good. I think 32 coal will do. Okay, 33, fine. So yeah, I think we ought to start looking at getting that mulberry. So I'm fairly sure that's what we needed to make the paper. We needed to further progress and get into, I can't remember the name of the mod. The one about the moons and the stars and the things and the stuff. My inventory is so full right now. Untenable, I say. Untenable. You can live in there. Seeds, torches, sulfur. I need 6 more copper, which I don't have. Okay, we'll keep that stuff on me because I cannot be butts putting it away or finding a spot for it, because I think we're hang on. We'll at least get rid of these. You and you. There we go. Okay. So let's head off to the deep dark and get some clay. I mean, the deep dark tries to be scary, but once you've got torches around, it's not really that scary. It's just like doing things at night all the time, basically. You can ignore the screams of that guy. That's a shadow. Those guys attack you if you're in the dark, but they run away from sources of light, so it's not even an issue. Oh, and they make the horrible gurgling sounds, which will not stop. You can destroy them if you attack them while they're in the light, which stops the gurgling, but there's kind of no point, right? Anyway, I put that torch there because I wanted that black quartz. And I'm kind of aimlessly running around anyway because I don't actually know where any clay is. I just know it's around because I've harvested it here before. And I may as well look in areas that are in the light already, because they're already in the light. It's a way to save torches. Yeah, but all these torches are from where I got the black quartz from, for the axles I was making, because you can guess I need to make quite a few axles for the project. Here we go. For the irrigation project. So So yay, clay. Okay, I'm going to collect some more and then I'll return home. Okay, I am back. Plenty of clay. Well, enough to keep me going anyway. There we go. And put you in here for now to remind me to do that. Let's repair some of this wolf junk that I've got. You, and shoes. Why am I collecting these? I don't know. Maybe I'll stick them on an armor rack later. Saves me crafting them separately. They keep dropping anyway, so I guess I'm just trying to find some worth in them. In you go. So yeah, let's look at how to make some paper, shall we? We look at advancements. I've cleaned up some of these advancements, by the way. I made some channels and some barrels and did all that. I haven't done these two because I don't really mind at the moment. Might go back and do the parrot thing because we need eagles for this. So, something to write on. Astral. Needs washi. Washi is made specifically from either a knotted screen or a press. From mulberry pulp, soaked mulberry bark, and then mulberry trees really spawn in most biomes. So we need to find a mulberry tree somewhere. And since I haven't seen one in this biome, I'm thinking that my neighboring forest biomes will probably be a bit better of a place to look for it. So let's go there. Oh my god, I have finally found one. After like doing an actual full circle of all the forests and biomes around here and coming all the way back over here. Here's the base, by the way. Somewhere in here is the base, by the way. Finally found a mulberry tree. I recognize it from a distance because I ended up looking up mulberry and realized I'm looking specifically for a yellow tree, and there it is. So here we are. Getting mulberry. Gib. I also picked up some ironwood and sakura while I was at it. I already have a sakura sapling actually, but seriously? No sapling? Okay. Alright. You wanna be that way? Wanna be that way, game? Okay. I cannot be defeated, Darkosto! I know it was you that made it so the very first mulberry tree that Rorax cut down would not drop a mulberry sapling, but I cannot and will not be defeated by you. I know you purposefully tweaked those numbers, you cad! So yeah, I have a couple of mulberry saplings now. And I'm out here after traveling around through the night. So, yep. And finally home. So, what's the deal with this washi stuff again? I know we will need to saw this to get the bark. So, let's do exactly that. And then I had to do a bunch of seriously? I had to do a bunch of stuff with that bark. So... plant, please. There. Was not letting me click. No clicks. 0 clicks for me. I think I need to grind it up. Grind first. It is soak first. So, just water and mulberry bark. Okay. Let's take those out, which have been sitting here for actually a very long time. You thought I was going to say forever, but I did not. Joke's on you. And stir this bad boy. I don't think I have to do all of it because we only have that one particular quest to do. So then we, with the 4 soaked, hang it up to dry on our array of drying racks and wait for it. Alright, and with mulberry pulp, we craft it into a single washi paper. Good thing I did the rest of those mulberries while I waited for that to dry. Sleep, sleep. And then with the mulberry sheet, we press it. Good thing I'm already using the press. I'm gonna take these, thanks. We press it into paper. So, I need to grow another mulberry tree, because I only had enough for 3. Oh, and I also got a 3rd sapling, because on the way back, closer to the base, I found another mulberry tree. Don't tell Rorax, okay? She's gonna be real mad about that. We got a washi! Hooray! So let's drop that back in there for the meantime. So then the washi and the aquamarine. Okay, and that gets us a single piece of parchment. I think we need 4 pieces of parchment. So this may actually end up being quite ridiculous. I'm gonna speed this along. Not that many bones. Speed this along by making some bone meal. Boop. So I can grow these trees up. Harvest them. Drink. Here, have another bone. Grow, 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 grow. Yay! Grow. Whoops, grow. Yeah, how are these doing? Do we have any grapes yet? We do not. This one's confused. I think that's because I tried bone mealing it. We got some tomatoes though. I think I need to let those still grow or else they won't grow further up the stake. Grow, 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 grow. Thank you. Grow. Thank you. Too many mulberry trees. I hope we have an easier way of making paper later. I don't feel like... The problem is, I don't mind bark, and I suppose I could debark these rather than put them in the saw. But what I would really appreciate is not having to have all that extra wood that I don't necessarily want to use because I don't really like the colour of the actual wood that this produces. Don't tell Daedalus Games! Well, you can tell them actually, but I don't know why you'd want to. Give me... Okay. Give me these. So I can set them up in the press. Hey, how you doing, horse? Nearly done. Good on you. You are so faithful. Right. Mulberry back. And that is all we have to do. And we will have our book. And our 4th piece of washi. So now I have to remember where I put the aquamarines. There they are. And that will allow us to make... Whoa! A parchment! A singular parchment. And now we need to make a astral tome. Oh, it's only one parchment after all. Plant cloth. Oh my lord, we're going to be able to finish this. Crazy. Get in table. Grab ink book. Astral. Okay. Okay. Wants one more thing. Link to the stars. Complete the ritual to transform a crafting table into a luminous crafting table. Well, ain't that just a whole lot of stuff? We're going to have to leave that for next episode, my dudes. This episode was a journey, and I cannot wait to get back to that journey after a little break. So I'll see you all soon. Bye!